सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारे चैनल डिफेसिस को और दबाइए बेल बटन को ताकि आपको मिल सके हमारी वीडियोस की अपडेट सबसे पहले।
As Indian and Chinese troops remain face-to-face in Ladakh, India is buying more sophisticated American weapons, this time for the Navy. The Defense Acquisition Council or DAC, headed by the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and including the three chiefs and the Chief of Defense Staff, is expected to clear a decision to acquire 10 unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs during the forthcoming meeting on August 11. These UAVs are likely to be the American Sea Guardian MQ-9 drone, far deadlier than any similar weapon system India currently possesses. The Sea Guardian can be in the air for about 14 hours with its complement of air-to-ground missiles and laser-guided bombs amounting to a little less than 2,000 kilograms. It has a range of nearly 2,000 kilometers or about 1,000 nautical miles. Very few countries outside the USA and its NATO allies have the Sea Guardian. Being a drone, it doesn't have a pilot, but is guided from the ground. The DAC is also expected to clear the purchases of super rapid gun mounts. These are medium-range anti-ship and anti-aircraft guns with 76mm shells, the strategic partner for building the naval utility helicopter. This is a deal for 111 choppers to replace the Cheetah, and several foreign manufacturers are in the race. It is a Rs 20,000 crore deal that has been stuck for a considerable while. And the refit of Sindhugosh, a Russian-made submarine the Navy had acquired in the mid-80s. The 35-year-old vessel, survivor of a collision with a merchant ship and a fire, will be going to Russia for the refit. 6 months into the COVID-19 crisis, India's defence establishment has begun plans for beginning military exercises with friendly countries, beginning with Russia and the United States of America. Ever since the coronavirus has begun to spread all over the world, the Indian Armed Forces stopped all exercises. There was no reason, it was felt, for military exercises to go on when COVID-19 was raging all over the world. It was just too risky. Now, the government has decided to begin exercises, after taking the necessary precautions. India has decided to participate in Caucasus 2020, planned by Russia for next month. An army contingent and a smaller naval group are expected to take part. This exercise will also involve many other countries. Like Caucasus 2020, RIMPAC or Rim of the Pacific exercise is also a multinational exercise, hosted by the United States in Hawaii. A largely naval exercise, hosted chiefly by the U.S. Pacific Command, it was supposed to have been held in the summer months this year but was postponed because of COVID-19. A decision to participate in RIMPAC has already been taken, but it will not be a particularly elaborate one. Participation may be restricted to naval aircraft. The big naval exercise Malabar 2020 is being planned for November. This involves the United States, India, and Japan. The decision to involve Australia is yet to be taken but remains under active discussion. Ahead of the crucial Financial Action Task Force meetings in October, when Pakistan's performance in acting against terror financing infrastructure will be assessed, Indian agencies plan to highlight its inaction in the Pulwama, 26/11 Mumbai attack and Daniel Pearl murder cases. The Pakistani establishment has to prove that it is serious about dismantling the terror funding infrastructure, which is possible only by ensuring that cases against the key figures and organizations involved in raising funds and masterminding terror attacks attain finality and such elements are punished. Given that no such concrete steps are being taken, we need to flag the issue, said a government official. Indian agencies are sharing details with key Financial Action Task Force members of the Pulwama attack in February 2019, in which 40 Central Reserve Police Force personnel lost their lives and many were injured. About a month ago, the National Investigation Agency arrested an alleged Jaish-e-Mohammed conduit for providing shelter and logistical support to those involved in the attack. The NIA said the accused named Bilal Ahmed Kuke had arranged phones for the conspirators to facilitate their communication with Pakistan-based handlers and also prepare a video clip of the attack. The agency has so far arrested 7 persons in the case. The Army has asked private industries to meet the annual requirement for different types of ammunition, including rifle bullets and artillery rockets, for the next 10 years. The move, however, comes with a rider that interested manufacturers will not receive any financial support for their venture. In a series of requests for information, RFI, issued on Tuesday, the Master General of Ordnance's branch at Army Headquarters has sought to identify prospective manufacturers for participating in the indigenous manufacture of ammunition. The types of ammunition to be manufactured include rockets for the 300 mm Smerch and 122 mm BM-21 systems, 90 mm shoulder-fired rocket launcher, 155 mm, 40 mm, and 20 mm rounds for artillery and air defense guns, as well as 7.62 mm and 9 mm rounds for different rifles and carbine. The annual requirement projected to be sourced from the private sector varies from a few dozen rounds for systems like Smerch rockets to about 70 Lock 7.62 mm bullets. While inviting private firms for manufacturing ammunition, the Army has also made it clear that the government will neither provide any special concessions nor any funding or investment to facilitate setting up requisite infrastructure by participating firms. The manufacturers will also be responsible to obtain necessary clearances under the Arms Act from the Ministry of Home Affairs, manufacturing licenses from the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, as well as any other permissions necessary for the manufacture of ammunition in India. Each type of ammunition has various variants or type of warhead to be used for different purposes. The Russian-origin Smerch rockets, for example, can be equipped with cluster warhead, fuel-air explosive warhead and a high-explosive fragmentation warhead. Similarly, the 7.62 mm rounds are for use in assault rifles and different types of sniper rifles. The Army has approached the private industry earlier for indigenous manufacture of ammunition. While some private manufacturers are supplying certain types of ammunition, the bulk of the indigenous supply comes from the state-run Ordnance Factory Board. A large quantity, especially that of critical and specialized ammunition, continue to be imported. Chinese flagship tech products Weibo and Beta Search have been blocked by India's government in the second batch of application bans instituted by New Delhi, The Times of India reported Tuesday. According to the Times of India news outlet citing sources, the Chinese equivalents of Google Search and Twitter were among the 47 additional apps banned late last month. The government has notified Google and Apple that they should remove those applications from the app stores and directed internet service providers to block their use on Indian territory, the news outlet reported citing a government source. In late June, India banned 59 Chinese-developed applications from use in India after tensions between the Asian giants came to a head over Himalayan border disputes. The renewed list of banned apps mainly targeted clones of previously banned ones, but with the bans Beta Search and Weibo, India's tech marketplace has been all but purged of Chinese-made products. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had around 200,000 followers on microblogging app Weibo before he deleted it over the escalating tensions, the Times of India reported. The border dispute between the two countries, which has effectively never been settled, took a turn for the worse when Chinese and Indian soldiers faced off in the desolate Ladakh region. India said that 20 soldiers were killed in face-to-face combat. Firearms are banned from the border as a confidence-building measure, while China has not disclosed its losses in that skirmish. The government is eyeing a turnover of Rs 1.75 lakh crore in defence manufacturing by 2025 as it has identified the sector as a potential driver to boost the overall economy, according to a draft of a major policy prepared by the Defence Ministry. The draft Defence Production and Export Promotion Policy 2020 set an export target of Rs 35,000 crore in aerospace and defence goods and services in the next 5 years, which has been estimated as part of the total projected turnover. The policy is envisaged as overarching guiding document of the Defence Ministry to provide a focused, structured, and significant thrust to production of military hardware and platforms for self-reliance and exports, officials said. Officials said the policy is aimed at developing a dynamic, robust, and competitive defense industry, including aerospace and naval shipbuilding, to cater to the needs of the armed forces. In May, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman rolled out a number of reform measures for the defense sector, including making separate budgetary outlay to procure Indian-made military hardware, increasing FDI limit from 49% to 74% under the automatic route, and generating a year-wise negative list of weapons which will not be allowed to import. India is one of the most lucrative markets for global defense giants, as it figured among top 3 importers of military hardware in the world for the last 8 years. According to estimates, the Indian Armed Forces are projected to spend around $130 billion in capital procurement in the next 5 years.